Johnny is 2 years older, 1 inch taller, has a reach advantage of 1 inch on both arms and legs.
All right, keys to victory for this one. For Kasangaная, he's got to defend the early takedowns. That has to be expected. Punches in bunches. It's usually the third, fourth, or fifth shot that lands for Kasangaная, and attacking the body always opens up his opportunities. For Johnny Eblin, if he can trap Kasangaная against the fence, he can nullify some of that movement. Punching into his takedowns will make it easier to get that clinch, and the body lock takedowns, when he can keep returning his opponent to the mat, is when he is at his most exhausting.
Andy Shepard, take it away.
The following fight is scheduled for 3 rounds of action in the middleweight division. And the winner will be awarded the Super Belt. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner and representing Bellator. He's a wrestling specialist and stands 6 feet 1 inches tall. He weighed in officially at 185.5 pounds and holds a perfect undefeated record of 17 victories and no defeats. Fighting out of Coconut Creek, Florida by way of Kansas City, Missouri. He is the reigning Bellator middleweight champion, Johnny Pressure Eblin. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner and representing PFL. He is a striking specialist and stands 6 feet tall. He weighed in officially at 185.8 pounds and holds a record of 15 wins and 3 losses. Fighting out of Deerfield Beach, Florida, he is the 2023 PFL Light Heavyweight Champion, Chilobo Impu Kaasanganaya. Referee in charge, Brian Miner.
Brian Miner oversees the co-main event action. Chilobo Impu Kaasanganaya in the yellow trunks.
Johnny, you ready? Impu, you ready?
Johnny Eblin in the white. Right to the center of the smart cage. 2 incredibly fast fighters here. Kaasanganaya coming back down to middleweight. Drives behind a hard right hand. Eblin stays out of the way. Inside kick.
The thing I like about the way that Kaasanganaya moves forward is as he's punching left to right, he's bringing his feet with him, which means that when people level change, they level change onto square hips, making it a lot more difficult. Oh, that's a nice single leg. Look at that.
Single leg and turns the corner. Look at that. Eblin heavy on the legs.
But let's see what Impu's going to do here, guys. Something tells me he's going to do whatever effort and work as hard as it takes to get back up to his feet. And that does change things. A wrestler's got to have a couple of moments on top just to catch his breath.
And this is something that was so interesting about his championship bout. Impu Kaasanganaya was able to defend these takedown attempts. Now, it was Josh Silveira, not Johnny Eblin, but he defended them and never really got fatigued, never got worn out by it, and continued to explode in these situations. There he works back to an underhook and goes chest to chest. He's not all the way out of trouble yet, but he's on his feet.
Notice this frame. Everything's right here. Everything's right here by Impu.
He did a great job there of digging that underhook back into place. You always want to be facing Johnny Eblin if you have to clinch the guy, because as soon as he gets that body lock from behind, you're going for a ride. Oh, that was a good knee.
And Impu's not rattled. He's not discouraged. He's already put that behind him and compartmentalized. I can see it on his face and by his eyes.
I can't imagine a situation where Impu Kaasanganaya would show any kind of emotion on his face like he's rattled.
Now off
He's
the
a very,
cage.
beautiful movement. A very calculated, intelligent, quietly spoken individual. Knows how to hide his cards very well.
Impu did eat a couple of elbows in that scenario. Johnny said that would be part of his game plan as he switches stances and avoids the combination from Impu.
Now the danger from Eblin now is that because Kaasanganaya has had to go through that process of getting back to his feet, the threat of the takedown could really open up strikes for Eblin.
Good length on that Eblin jab. goes back downstairs with a leg kick. Impu's already slowed some of the bouncing of his posture here.
Nice overhand.
And we've seen this theme earlier tonight. The offense from Eblin right now, stymieing some of that offense. We finally see Impu able to unleash a combination. But when you force a fighter to stay on the defensive, you don't have as much to worry about coming back. Front kick almost to the forehead there of Eblin.
That was a beautiful little step to the side from Kасанганая.
Nice right hand.
I wonder what the lasting impression in Johnny Eblen's mind was of that first clinch, that moment. Did he think, my goodness, this man's incredibly strong, very difficult to control?
Well, one of the things that we talked about with Johnny Eblin in the fighter meetings is that his cardio is so incredible, and he will pressure you until you break. I mean, his nickname is pressure. But Impu Kасанганая appears to have removed that as a possibility these last couple of fights with the level of conditioning he's come into the cage with. So what happens if Johnny Eblin is trying to wear you out and he's not able to? We might find that out tonight. Nice jab from Impu.
And sometimes athletes at this level of conditioning require the 25 minutes to make fatigue a weapon. In 15 minutes, I don't know as either of these guys are going to get tired.
I think Johnny did come away with some respect for Impu's grappling. I don't know that he's going to clinch him or be in a hurry to exert that kind of energy if he feels he can get some moments right here in a pick'em contest.
Twice now we've seen Impu catch Johnny coming in with hooks. Once with the right hand on the sidestep, just then on the left hand. Both fighters starting to get reads off one another. Second time we've seen him try that front kick right up the middle, Dan.
And that's a great deterrent for a level change as well. We remember what Henan Fajeda did to Jones as he level changed onto that shin bone. Good head movement as well by Kасанганая. Oh, that was a good cross.
Beautiful right hand there from Johnny Eblin. Good level change underneath the jab there from Impu.
Impu's starting to get comfortable, fellas.
Yeah,
he's starting to loosen up a little bit.
He really is. That was
beautiful
a nice
body shot, straight right. Uppercut, traded for a right hand.
Hey, Impu's about to steal this round. Johnny's got about 10 seconds here to do something fast and leave with the judges.
Nice check hook again. Impu now with the pressure. And then he turns that angle. Flying knee attempt there from Impu.
He might have just stolen that round, guys.
Yeah.
Wow.
Lovely movement in the pocket.
Jill, important that you say that. Might have stolen that round because Johnny Eblin at 14-0 says, I win every second, every exchange, every minute of a fight. I haven't lost a round. Confidence and your perception of a fight, especially a three-rounder where you don't have as much time to figure it out. All that matters.
Impu trying to steal it. He knows there's not a lot of time left. Look, I'm not saying it landed or hurt him. I'm saying what did impress the judges. Impu began to take over that round. Even had a body shot or two. He was also gaining ground, right? Perspective number one is damage, but number two is control. He was starting to take control. Look, that's a really close round. I bring that to you because what is the math they're doing now? Is Eblin going to try to clinch and get him back down? Or is Impu finally gotten comfortable and starts to understand the range? It's going to be very telling in round two.
Impu Kасанганая, Johnny Eblin, round number two, body kick, and then a combination from Impu, who comes out much more aggressive here in the second frame. Oh, combination! Impu drops Eblin! Eblin trying to wrestle out of it here, grabs onto that single leg. Impu heavy on the sprawl, got that chin strap.
Got to free himself from that body lock, though. Eblin's still dangerous even when he's rocked.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Impu with another cut.
Oh, an uppercut.
Finished with the uppercut, and now he's got the neck of Johnny Eblin and is cranking. Impu Kасанганая, furious start to round two. Wobbles Eblin. He's got Eblin on the back foot here early.
Beautiful slip to a body shot. Nice level change by Eblin, though. This is going to buy him a moment. But if Kасанганая can get free here, that could really shake the confidence of the undefeated fighter.
Remember, elbows are allowed here, so Johnny Eblin's going to have to be careful about keeping his head out on the side. Impu tried the flying knee as deterrent to this wrestle.
Little Uriah Faber knee there.
He doesn't like it. Stay heavy. Good
This is exhausting as well. And look at Eblen's toes. He's only just postured into a position where he can start to now be offensive.
And look at the way that his chest is heaving as his body, I mean, that's not a good wrestling posture. Impu Kasangana staying heavy on the head, making Johnny Eblin carry that weight, and he steps out of another attempt here. Oh. Combination, Impu hammering away, eats an elbow from Eblin, but they continue to swing against the smart cage barrier before clinching.
Impu's fought at 205 pounds and had a lot of success. We're seeing that size. We're seeing that strength right now. We're also seeing that the fatigue of the weight cut is behind him. This is a guy that did everything right.
It was a clubbing right hand from Johnny Eblin that came over the top there. He's backing on the legs, but again, he's not in an offensive posture. He's in a hold on and gather my senses posture right now. And if Kasangana can start to use some of these chopping elbows, these Travis Brown elbows into the side of the head, that could really force Eblin to start to move.
Elevation here. Johnny Eblin got both feet off the ground for Impu for just a second, but there's that chopping elbow again. Eblin is very good at buying himself a little bit of space, framing out and hammering that into the side of his opponent's head. Appears to have recovered from whatever punching combinations landed and maybe wobbled Eblin a little bit early as we're halfway through round number 2.
And halfway through the round, right in the middle of the fight here. So we go back to what Mr. Sonnen was saying a moment ago. If Kасangana won the end of that last round and stole it on the scorecards, what is this round looking like on the scorecards as well? I know, of course, he's in a defensive position here, but very little scoring is being done by Eblin.
Johnny loves that suplex. Impu can't give him the belly to back, and he knows it, trying to grab a Kimura grip on Johnny Eblin's left arm.
My biggest comment to what we're seeing right now by Eblin is good for him. He did not get frustrated with the takedowns. Even though he hasn't done a lot to secure them, he's going back to them. He's going back to what he knows well. He's trying to win this fight. And you see, many guys, they check out early. Eblin is still in this contest.
Absolutely. He's not undefeated for a reason. He knows how to win fights, even when he's on the back foot like he was against Fabian Edwards. He knows how to recover. This is not a good position for Impu. He could potentially be caught in a twister here. I know we don't see them very often, but Eblin's got the right control on that right wrist of Impu Kasangana.
Impu's going to try and get his left hip elevated. Johnny Eblin rides over.
And the thing is, this marauding, mauling style that Eblin's got, you don't even have to be fully conscious to be able to do it. He's working on instinct a lot of the time here.
1 minute left in round number 2. A very interesting frame so far. Can Eblin use this last minute to really score some points? Because the early part of this round was all Impu Kasangana, who's just going for the lockdown here with those arms.
Do you get the feeling that Kasangana feels like he's done enough already to win this round?
Well, you can't ever feel that way, but maybe conserving some energy, because look, we're seeing him, the mouth is actually open. He actually is breathing hard here as Johnny Eblin advances position and goes to work with his left hand.
Yes, keep doing that, yes. Keep doing.
And it's interesting math, isn't it? Whether he thinks he's done enough and that's why he's conserving, or if he realizes, I've got to win the next one and therefore I need to conserve. That's why it's always interesting to hear the corners speak in between rounds.
Johnny Eblin finishes round 2 on top. There's Impu's family. His family surprised him by coming here. An incredible story, inspirational story, the American dream in the Kasangana family as we look at these replays.
Look at the fast hands of Impu Kasangana, as well as the head movement. We can't understate the effectiveness of his ability to move his head out of the way, even in these pockets when he's trading, landing power shots. I mean, any one of those fights could have been a fight ender. Just not quite landing clean enough to put Eblin down. A beautiful uppercut, really well timed there. That to me seemed like the most consequential of all of the shots in that round. And here's a takedown attempt here from Eblin, who scrambles and scrambles to keep a hold of Impu Kasangana, who gets a little bit of space to open up with a flurry. Both of these guys a little bit labored, though, here I'm seeing. They've been working really hard for 10 minutes. And there's the beautiful body lock takedown from Eblin, clamped onto the back of Kasangana. He was able to maintain that position for a good part of the rest of that round.
What an incredible recovery from Johnny Eblin in the second part of that round. But again,
Kasangana,
enough
who gets a little bit of the face
sway the judges in his favor after being knocked down. Third and final round here. PFL versus Bellator champs. Impu Kasangana.
He keeps doing that. Eblin standing from a southpaw stance. He's throwing a big left hand, and Kasangana is weaving underneath it and cracking him in the head with a counter shot.
And look at the recovery from Impu. Mouth is closed again, breathing through his nose. He sees the swelling under Johnny Eblin's eye. He sees the heavy legs.
Up with a flurry.
Nice jab, good movement there from Impu to stay out of range. Really impressive performance from both of these fighters, and that's exactly what we thought we would see.
I would be so curious amongst the athletes how they think the fight is going. Does Eblin believe he needs this? Does Impu believe he needs this? Are we trying to beat each other still, or are we just trying to run out the clock? It's very interesting to me, the psychological side going on in this match right now.
We saw Impu Kasangana in our PFL 2023 season. His left hook is a formidable weapon, and he's landed it several times on Johnny Eblin, who wears it and continues to come forward. Leg kick there. Traded for a couple punches, though.
Both of
Might
these
not
guys
be the
a little
winning
bit...
formula for Impu Kasangana this late in the fight.
He left his head on the center line for that calf kick. I feel like he came off on the worst end of that, especially on the judge's perspective.
Sweeping right hand landed there for Eblin. Eblin still bringing his feet with him when he throws those punches. Nasty combination here from Eblin.
Best punch for Eblin so far of the fight.
Good jab.
Impu is not fighting with an urgency. There's two reasons why. Possibly he's fatigued and can't. Possibly he thinks he's up 2 rounds to none. I'm only sharing that with you because it could be at any moment now. Impu puts his foot down and tries to steal some points, but he hasn't done it in this round yet.
He went for the body shot there with the uppercut. Johnny made him pay with a left hook. Both men scoring in these combinations and these exchanges. Nice movement there. Good slip and rip from Impu Kasangana. Look at the right eye of Johnny Eblin. Jousting jab from Eblin and a right hand behind it this time.
This is a much better round for Eblin, this is. Even though he's taking some shots moving forward, he is scoring and he is bullying Impu Kasangana at the moment with pace.
That left hand snuck through. Now Impu offers one back and circles out. Impu on the back foot right now. Johnny Eblin, this is the pressure that he talked about.
Yeah, you're seeing that conditioning. You can see it on his face. You can see it by the way he's breathing. Eblin is back into the contest.
More than halfway through the round, right around 2 minutes left.
I love that rollout that he's doing underneath the right hand. He's used it several times already in this fight.
Big John McCarthy, rules expert, legend in the game, has great insight on how these fights are supposed to be scored. John McCarthy, who's winning this fight right now?
I'll tell you what, this fight is anybody's fight right now. You can sit there and say, Impu hurt Johnny in the second round. I'm going to give him that round. I don't care how much Johnny did in coming back. But the first round I was going to give to Johnny Eblin. So right now, this is anybody's fight.
And a huge takedown here with 90 seconds remaining in round number 3. In a razor-close fight, the wrestling for Eblin really comes into play, controlling that bottom leg of Impu Kasangana. He's got to find a way to get that back to the mat if he wants to stand up.
Impu was even thinking reversal there. He tried to pull those hips on top.
I think he tried to boss that a little bit too much power. This is much better, but he has given his back. He needs to get that left elbow inside the crook of Johnny Eblin's elbow and turn to face him.
Body lock here from Johnny Eblin. And now you can see the fatigue on Impu's face. Eblin going for the choke late.
Kasangana looks like he's safe, but it's still not a good position to be in from a scoring perspective. And as you said, Chel, there's no real urgency from Impu this round.
Eblen's got himself into a very good position. You know, the fence is such an interesting component to this sport, by the way. It will always help one guy, it will always hinder one guy, but it all depends on the position. They can trade that fence back and forth.
A late surge here from Johnny Eblin with the right eye swollen shut, showing you why he is an undefeated mixed martial artist. Impu flailing away. Couple of elbows landed there from Impu Kasangaная, and they hammer away to the final bell. What an incredible fight between these two monsters.
Really fantastic performance from both of them, to be honest. I would love to see 2 more rounds of this one. If these guys ever get a rematch, it's got to be at 25 minutes.
Johnny Eblin just got up and looked for reassurance from Mike Brown.
Yep.
Thumbs up, thumbs down, did I get it? Brown said, yeah, you got it. I don't know how confident either camp can be in this moment, Chael Sonnen, that the scorecards will go in their favor.
The only clear round, I think, was 3. I think most people are going to say that 2 was clear to Impu, but no, one is anybody's game, and I'm not sure.
Here we go with the hands of Johnny Eblin in this 3rd round. Pushing forward and throwing, taking a few shots, but this is why he's an undefeated champion. He is willing to take risks, to climb his way back into a fight, and look at that beautiful drive there. Kasangaная landing on the floor, taking a deep breath. He looked more tired in 3 rounds against Eblin than he did in 5 rounds against Silveira. That has to say something about Eblin's wrestling.
And Eblin told us that would be the case. He said, I go for the finish. I push people to the brink for the entirety of the fight. This fight delivered as promised. And look, I don't know who's going to win. I don't have the official scorecards in front of me. We will find that out in just a second. But I think in context on the world stage, both of these fighters should gain respect from the fans in this fight, regardless who wins, who loses.
Yeah, very special. I mean, I got to tell you, just as a side note, Impu is enrolled and starts his first class at Harvard in 2 months.
These
in 2 months, he will be. He's an overachiever, this guy. He grew up on the other side of the tracks, the nice one. His parents the very ones who told him you cannot do sports and stopped him from doing sports in his youth, there they are. They flew 22 hours to support their little boy tonight, and that is awesome.
He knew his dad was coming. He did not know that his mother would be here. The family support means everything to Shilobo. Impu Kasanganaay fights to make his parents proud. An incredible performance tonight. Look, I don't know if I'm reading that body language right, but maybe he doesn't feel like he won this fight. I think he might have won this fight.
He very much has a chance. If you look at overall, at 15 minutes, who did more? Oh, Johnny Eblin did, but that's not how these are scored. They're scored after each frame. The judges turn those scores into the executive director, so there's no going back. There's no second thoughts. I'm just sharing that. We have some new viewers. It's a simple math equation. One guy gets 10 per round, the other guy gets 9. They're totaling them up now, and they're going to let us know. I do think that Eblin is the right call, by the way. I'm not predicting that it's going to go to Impu. I'm just sharing with you, it could, and it wouldn't be wrong. It was a close first 10 minutes.
I'm going to bet that this is a split decision based on the amount of time it is taking. We might even have a draw here. Who knows? Brian Miner calls the fighters to the center of the smart cage.
Wait, you're guessing split, but ultimately for who? Just so I think
we might see split.
Very good.
Eblin. Dan and Chael both thought Johnny Eblin did enough. We'll see what the commission judges have to say. Their scorecards are with Andy Shepard.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Ben Cartlidge scored this bout 29-28 for Eblin. Judge Mark Collette scored about 29-28 for Kasanganaay. And Judge Mohammed Hadid scores about 29-28 for your winner via split decision, Johnny Eblin.
Johnny Eblin improves to 15-0 as a professional mixed martial artist. Stealing round number 3 with the pressure and the takedown. And obviously, 2 judges also gave him round number 1.
And you called it on a split decision. Hey, look, it's the right decision. Johnny really did do enough to win that fight. You go back, you watch it a couple times. That's the conclusion you would come to. But anything can happen. These judges are very on point tonight. I got to give him credit. And let me also give credit to Johnny Eblin. Look at what he just achieved.
He gets the super belt. Pete Murray gives him the ring inside the belt. Mike Tyson wraps the belt